YouTube Ozick going. The Goat House is back with my Week 11 score predictions and picks against spread for every single game. We do this video every Wednesday. Excited about this week. We're going to go game by game, give you my scores. At the end, we'll recap my against the spread picks. Our straight up picks with the other guys at the Goat House already up on the channel for this week, so you can check that out. Check out our power rankings, rookie rankings, and much more. Join us, like, subscribe to Notifications on, follow us on Twitter. A lot going on there, a lot of news lately. We got you guys covered. So links pinned in the comments for that. Social media, Liquid IV, GLD Shop, our sponsors. You can use code GOAT on those sites. I always am rocking GLD jewelry. We have a giveaway with them going on too. Links pinned in the comments. Thursday night football, it's a good one, and I got a squeaker, a 1-point squeaker. Bengals 23, Ravens 24. It's a tough one to predict, especially with the injuries still, waiting on some Ravens injuries. Marlon Humphrey, Ronnie Stanley, will these guys play? The Bengals, surprisingly, right before making this, Trey Hendrickson's going to play. I'm surprised about that. But T. Higgins is going to be out. They missed him last week, it felt like, even though they had production, they missed him. And Sam Hubbard is out, so it would have been really bad if Hendrickson was out. I think I would have had a easier Ravens win if you're missing both pass rushers, but they have them, and the Ravens are a little beat up as well. It feels like a must-win for the Bengals. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I'm still thinking they can do it because this time of the year, especially close to the playoffs, they really get going. They're very good. They're a very good team when healthy. But they got to win this game to kind of maybe keep that alive. So that kind of made me want to pick the Bengals, but I don't want to overthink things here. They're beat up. I know the Ravens are too. The Ravens are kind of used to being beat up. They're home on primetime football, but a big factor here is the Bengals, for some reason this year, cannot stop the run. And the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, even Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell, mainly Lamar Jackson, they can run the football. So that's what I mean by I don't want to overthink things, but it's one of those AFC North battles. It's a must-win for the Bengals. We know it's going to stay tight. It's going to be right around this range. The Bengals are getting for with Trey Hendrickson news. Maybe people start betting on the Bengals, so that line will get a little tighter. So against the spread, which we'll recap all my against spread picks at the end. But against spread, I'll take the Bengals, but the Ravens winning in a squeaker. And I talked about AFC North squeakers, 1-point victory. Maybe it's a little bold to predict 2 1-point victories, but that's just how the AFC North goes here. And I'm going to go with the Browns. This morning, it came out that Deshaun Watson is out for the year, actually. He finished that last game, injured and won the game against the Ravens. But he's out, and they're not going to play P.J. Walker. They're going to play Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who looked great in the preseason. But when he played against the Ravens, they had no answer. He was constantly pressured. A lot of it was his fault, holding the ball a little too long. So in the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, the players they got, T.J. Watt and company, they might make his life a living hell as well, just like the Ravens did. So right now, the line was 3.5. It was the Browns by 3.5, and I was picking the Browns for sure. So he's out. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's in. The line is down to 1, but the Browns are still favored. I'm thinking that's going to change. I'm thinking it's going to be the Steelers favored when kickoff happens, but we'll see. I'm going to pick the Browns, though. Maybe it's a little bold with DTR, especially, that what happened last time. It was just so simple for the Ravens to beat them, but the Ravens are better than the Steelers, even though the Steelers are pretty good. I think the Browns are going to be smart about this. I think they're going to run the football. Jerome Ford's been getting going. Kareem Hunt's been scoring. They're going to run the football. And are they going to light up the Steelers running the football? No, but they'll have a little bit of success. They're going to run the clock. They're going to limit their mistakes. They're going to be smart about this because last time they played the Steelers, they felt like they had it, but some turnovers, mistakes, happened. They lost. That was prime time in Pittsburgh. Steelers always win those games. This one's in Cleveland. The Browns are going to win with their defense, in my opinion, in this game. But the Steelers very well could win with their defense. I'm going to go 17-16. And I think another thing is run the ball for the most part. Maybe get, Dorian Thompson-Robinson running as well. But then I think he'll do some damage late in this game, the passing game, when the Steelers kind of adjust for the run game. So I'm feeling the Browns defense this one at home, 17-16. Maybe that's a little bold, but the AFC North battles should be battles. They should be tight ones. So excited for this week. Big reasons for those. Bears and Lions, it was reported last night or this morning, one of the two, I can't even remember, Justin Fields is going to start, for the Bears. And how much does that change? The line went from the Lions by 10 to 9, so they give the Bears a +1 point. tack down 1 point there. So not much of a difference right now. We'll see if people start betting one way or the other. I like the Lions winning this game. It's a little tricky to predict the score because the Bears defense has been playing great, and the Lions defense has not been playing great. They've given up 90 points the last 3 weeks. So, but the Bears defense, again, playing great. They haven't seen the Lions offense. David Montgomery revenge game, I think they'll run the ball well. I think they'll throw the ball well as well. So I'm not really worried about their offense too much. Defensively, they've given up points to the Ravens. They've given up points to the Chargers. Justin Fields coming off the injury. I'm confident with the line. The Lions' run defense is all right as well. It's more of the pass defense. So the Bears are kind of a team that run to open up the pass. So I think it's a really, on top of the Lions just being a much better team at home, I think it's a really good matchup for them. So I got them winning by 11 points. I was about to have 27-13 with Bayesian. So not a whole big difference there, but you do have a little bit more, I guess, with Justin Fields. But 27-16 Lions is what I have. For Chargers and Packers, and don't mind the Packers logo, that is used because of they're wearing their alternates or retro uniforms. But I like the Steelers against -3 against the Packers last week. That was one of my favorite bets. It got cut really close, though. It was a little scary, but I like against the Packers again. It's the same spread. I like the Chargers in this game. The Packers are atrocious stopping the run. The Chargers are very good in the passing game. They don't run a whole lot, but they can run the ball, and I think they will realize the situation here. Kellen Moore, I think, is okay with running the ball. I think they'll do that. Eckler, I think we'll see a bit more of Josh Kelly because when he gets action, he actually gets some good yards, and they're not using him enough right now. They're going to realize in a game like this, we're going to use him more. So I think they're going to, Herbert could have success against anyone. We saw the Lions last week, passing the ball. So I think they'll have success running and passing. But I think it'll be mainly running, and I think the Packers, with their play style, I think a lot of running clock. So I thought about the Chargers scoring more points because I think they'll have success in multiple ways on offense, but I think a lot of running clock. So 24-17. Team's been scoring a lot in the Chargers. Well, actually, not really, but last game the Lions did. It looks like what I was going to say is it looked like you could score points on the Chargers, but I don't know if the Packers have enough. The Chargers' run defense is better this year despite the Lions game. It's maybe the best run offense in football there. I just don't know if the Packers have enough. The Chargers will give up plays through the air, but they'll also create turnovers. The Packers give the ball up too much. I like the Chargers in this one, 24-17. I did think about even more score, like a 31-24. It felt like a little too much, but I like the Chargers in that one in Lambeau. Raiders and Dolphins, a big spread. It's 12, and the Raiders are playing with a lot more energy. They're getting going, but this is a bad matchup for them. I mean, they beat up the Giants, and then they got by the Jets. The Dolphins are a totally different team. It's an offensive team that I think the defense will get better as time goes on. Jalen Ramsey, third game in the mix. That pass rush getting going, obviously. It's a bad match for the Raiders. I do think you can move the ball on the Dolphins' defense still, so the Raiders will score a little bit, but I think the Dolphins are just too fast. The Raiders' defense has been playing good, but again, they haven't seen the Dolphins' offense. This is where the Dolphins thrive. This type of game in Miami, against a below average team, most likely. I like Dolphins covering that 12. 31-17. I thought about more than this as well, or less for the Raiders as possible. So I like the Dolphins in that one. Giants Commanders. Last time the Giants beat the Commanders, and they played very well on defense. The Commanders couldn't do anything on offense, and I know the Giants are worse right now, but it's because their offense. So they still have that same defense, is what I'm saying. Minus Leonard Williams because he was traded. So there is a scenario where the Commanders just struggle to score again. I think they're playing a little better on offense this time around. It wasn't too long ago. Some adjustments since last time, since they already got to see them play, and I think the offense will have more opportunities in this game. So they'll score more. I don't know if it's a shit ton, but got them scoring 23. I just don't trust the Giants enough to score enough here. Commanders defense played all right despite the very end of the game against Seattle last year. Some big plays. The DK play at the end of the game. Kenneth Walker, that big play. They've been playing okay, and it's not much of a challenge. So I got them winning by 13. Don't expect much scoring in this game, but yeah, I guess it's tricky to figure out, because you can see the Commanders scoring. I don't see them scoring 7 again. You can see them scoring like the least is probably 13, but I'm not counting on that. But I also can see them scoring like 31, but I'm not counting on that. To be a little more realistic, maybe like 16 to 27 is kind of the range there, but like them at 23. winning and covering this time around against the Giants. Cowboys and Panthers, another giant spread, but I do like the Cowboys in this one. The Panthers are supposed to adjust some things. I heard that earlier this week. Are supposed to adjust some things for the better. Maybe who's calling plays, what type of plays they're calling. How do we simplify things here? It does feel like a simple offense, so that's the thing. It's like too simple, not creative enough, I suppose. But so I guess they can throw some different things at the Cowboys, but I don't expect much here. They struggle on offense no matter who they're playing. Like we thought they can get something going against the Colts. No, they kind of did the opposite. They gave the Colts points. Cowboys defense is a different animal, so I don't expect much from the Panthers here. Panthers defense has been playing much better, but again, they played the Bears, they played the Colts. They did well against the Texans. Was very impressed with that game. Again, Cowboys a different animal. I like them covering this game. 27-13. I can see like a 24-10. Thought about that as well. It's the same thing. So minus 10.5 for the Cowboys. They're covering that. It is a big spread, but Titans, Jags, right around that line, and I've seen it bounce around between 6.5 and 7. I have them winning by 7. I like the Jags in this one, though. The Titans, they're a tougher team they look on paper, but not so much away. They're so bad away. They're a totally different football team at home and versus away. And the Jags, I know they looked bad last week, but this is kind of this is the move here. I mean, the Jags off the bye look pretty bad. People getting down on them, people ripping Trevor Lawrence, and then boom, they knock the rust off. They get back to playing normal at home against division rival. So I see them having some success in this game. Mainly through the air. Defensively, they can have some takeaways. 24-17. If I was going to do something different, it would probably be the Jags winning by more. So even though it's very close to that line, and I probably wouldn't bet on it, but I do have them covering that 24-17. If this is in Tennessee, I might be picking Titans because they're just that much of a different team at home, but can't trust them away. Cardinals, Texans, which could be a good game. Cardinals are much better at Kyler Murray, and they're tough to game plan for. There's, they've never really been seen like that type of offense with Kyler Murray, so only one game to go off of. They probably got some more tricks up their sleeve. Which Texans defense is going to show up? They were great last week against the Bengals. Well, I shouldn't say great. They were good when it mattered against the Bengals last week. They were awful against the Bucs. They could be bad against Kyler Murray. But D'Amico Ryan should have a pretty good game plan. Like he's smart enough to know the different situations. He played against Kyler Murray twice a year, when he was with San Francisco. So I think the Texans defense has I think a lot of running clock in this game. Kyler running, James Conner running. The Texans got a new running back, not new, but sort of, with new lead back with Devin Singletary. And they might, wear the Cardinals out, stick on that early. So I think a lot of running clock in this one, which kind of keeps the Cardinals score low. But yeah, the Cardinals defense, again, well coached, playing better than expected. Love B.J. Ojulari stepping up last week. Dante Still's been playing pretty solid for a young guy. I like where they're going to head in the future, but there's still just not enough talent on that defense. I think C.J. Stroud could pick it apart if they choose to pass the football. So 27-20 Texans is what I have, and I see that line bounce around 4 and 5 there. Next, we got this. Okay, this is the toughest game to pick against the spread, to predict the score, and therefore against the spread. I'm confident, like you out there, probably in the 49ers winning. So I'm not saying it's tough picking straight up. Who knows? The Bucs can play spoiler here. It seems like the Niners are beatable, not last week, but before that, I think they're a juggernaut. I think they're a really good team. The Niners are going to win this game. This one is very tough predicting the score. Very tough. First off, which Bucs defense is going to show up? They were just the worst in football against the Texans, and they've had moments like that in the past defense. They were great against the Titans last week. They were great, but that is the Titans playing on the road, which are a bad team. It's a rookie quarterback, bad offensive line. This is the 49ers. This is Shanahan, that great offensive line, Purdy, those weapons. So it is a little different. The Bucs usually do stop the run fairly well. Could they take that away from McCaffrey and the Niners and make them one-dimensional? I guess it's possible. I think the 49ers, what they did last week to a good defense in the Jags, they should be able to score in this game. If the Buccaneers have holes, in the pass defense like that we've seen, they really don't on paper, but in game they do. I think the 49ers will figure that out. But this one's a tough, because I could see like 17-24, and that would mean the Bucs easily cover. I can see a 20-24. I could see a very low scoring. I can see like 13 Bucs and 20, whatever, low 20s for the Niners, even 20. So that's why this one's a weird one to predict the score on. Maybe I'm basing a little bit too much off last week against the Jags, but I think the Niners keep rolling. They keep rolling. They're feeling fresh. They're feeling good. They're at home in this game. I don't know if the Bucs have enough. They got good players. They're a decent team, better than expected. Do they have enough on either side of the ball to match with the 49ers in San Francisco? So 30-17 49ers. It's not one I would touch, in terms of betting against the spread, because it's a weird one. Jets and Bills. I got the Bills winning by 10 points, 27-17, so covering that 7. They've been playing pretty bad, but so have the Jets. They fired Ken Dorsey. Is that the solution to everything? Maybe not, but I think going in this week, it's kind of playing mind games with the Jets, which the defense, which is a good defense, but they've been playing worse than they're supposed to be recently. Teams are starting to figure it out. So I think the Bills want to run the ball more consistently, because they've actually been effective doing it when doing it. You can run the ball on the Jets. The Jets will be like, okay, they fired their coordinator because they're not running the ball more. They're probably going to run the ball. We struggle stopping the run, so I think they're going to focus on that, and it actually can open up the pass game. It's kind of unknown how Joe Brady's going to call this offense, and maybe Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, these guys have a lot more control now. So it's a tough game plan. So, and usually when a coach is fired, it kind of get some fire in their gut, gets them going a little bit, and they got to be pissed off after losing that one in devastating fashion at home on Monday night in front of their fans. For multiple reasons, I think the Bills are going to catch fire in this game, and the Jets just, again, good defense. They just don't have enough on offense. So I like the Bills 27-17 covering that 7. Seahawks and Rams. I like the Rams in this game. I like the Rams. Off the bye helps them. Stafford coming back helps them. He torched the Seahawks last time. It was week 1, so things really don't repeat themselves from week 1. But Stafford's a veteran guy. I think he can do a little bit of damage on the solid Seahawks defense, and they have weapons, getting some guys back. On the offensive line as well. And the Seahawks are tough because it's like, the offense defense can't be on the same page at the same time. It's kind of like back and forth. I think the Rams will get them if that's the same situation. In LA, off the bye, getting healthier. I think if the Seattle Seahawks don't have a complete game from both sides of the ball, I think they're going to lose. So I'm feeling the Rams this one. I thought I was going with a major upset, but the line is only Seahawks by 1. So it's not. I never really thought a major upset because the Rams did get them last time. They're a pretty good team when healthy. So I like them 24-20 on this one. I think a good mixture. Like I think we'll have a portion of the game where it's a lot of offense, and then we'll have a portion of like a stretch where it's just defense, and then maybe a little more offense at the end. So it's gonna be one of those games. Like it's gonna be back and forth, like 1 second shootout, and a defensive game. No one's gonna score the rest of the game. Like I think it's gonna be one of those games. So we'll see. Sunday night, I like the Vikings 23-20. Both teams been very sneaky. The Vikings are getting 2.5 points. It is a little tricky because it's in Denver. It's a tough place to play, Mile High, Sunday night. And the Vikings are very beat up, but they've been beat up. But even more so now with the running back situation and Jordan Hicks, that's a big one being out. But Broncos, I don't know if the luck's going to keep up. They're fortunate. They've been playing a lot better, but they've been very fortunate last game. It's really going to depend on how much the Vikings run the football because the Broncos' run defense is still very bad. So I think teams are really going to be like, okay, Chiefs and the Bills insisted on passing. The Vikings usually insist on passing, though, and they're out of running backs. That's the tricky part. But Ty Chandler looked pretty good last game. I think they're going to roll with him. And the Vikings are a tough game plan, too, because what are they going to do with Dobbs? And they'll have some design runs with him. They threw a read option out there last week, which we just don't see that with Kirk Cousins' Vikings, which has been the Vikings for years and years. So it's a tough game plan. So I think they'll pull some of that stuff out. Again, missing Hicks on defense, but I think Flores will have a plan. I don't know if the Broncos will do enough on offense. I go up Minnesota 23-20. Then Monday night's a great one. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, 2.5 spread. Tough to pick against the spread. I have the Chiefs winning by 3. If this was in Philly, I'd be going with the Eagles, but I think it's just 2 heavyweights. The home team definitely could decide things here. But one more thing. Well, one thing to argue the Eagles is I do think they can run the ball very effectively with Hurts and Swift and Gainwell, whoever. The Chiefs are more of a pass defense, it seems like, this year. Remember, Nick Bolton's out, second game without him. They didn't miss him a whole lot in the Dolphins game, but the way the Eagles run the football, they could. That'd be the reason the Eagles win this game. Sticking to the run. They'll be able to throw the ball too, don't get me wrong, but The run game is like control the clock, keep Mahomes off the field. They could do that. They could very easily do that. But a reason for the Chiefs, besides that they're home, is and this is an interesting thought maybe, but I explained it in the picks video as well. The Eagles' defense struggled with the Commanders. Like, they could not stop them through the air, and that's a Bieniemy offense. The Chiefs, the Commanders, they run the same offense. Bieniemy coming from the same system, where he comes from there. But the Chiefs are just much better. Sam Howell, Patrick Mahomes, the rest of the bunch there, Travis Kelce. So I think it's maybe a matchup issue for the Eagles defense, which the bye probably helped, maybe get them back on track. But it's something with that system. But then the Chiefs also, during the bye, maybe watch their guy, Bieniemy, watch the tape and see what he did, like what they could do. Like, we could easily do that. Like that, maybe them saying that, like similar situation. So they might be able to find things from a game like that during the bye week to get them ready for this game at home on Monday night where the crowd's going to be crazy. So I will take the Chiefs. It was in Philly. I'd probably be doing Philly 27-24. Maybe lower scoring, actually, if it was in Philly. I don't know why, but I feel like that. Maybe like 24-21, 23-20, something like that. But the score could be that, in this case as well. But on to recap my against spread picks. I've been on fire on we had one really bad week, but against the spread, 86-60. There's a site called Pick Watch. It takes all the experts and keeps track. If I was in there, I would have the third best record. So I'm feeling pretty good about the against spread picks this year. This week is tough. This week I feel like is not that tough straight up picking. Couple games maybe a little tough, but spread it's a little tough because I like the Bengals +4. It seems like a lot. I picked the Ravens to win. It seems like a lot though. In an AFC North game, a must win for the Bengals. It's got to be a 3-point or less. I had 1 point. The Lions, it's a lot. Fields is back, but matchup problems. Lions are better in Detroit. They should cover that. The Browns one's tough because I think I'm being bold picking the Browns, with DTR, and I have them winning by 1, so it's a push. But here I force myself to pick somebody against the spread. I pretty much have to go. If I think the Browns are going to win, I think I'm going to have to go with the Browns here, but they could easily lose the game, and this line could change to them getting points by the time kickoff happens. And originally I started working on this before, and I thought Watson was playing, and I had the Browns winning by 3 and a 3.5 spread. I had the Steelers covering the spread then, so it changed some things here. I do really like the Chargers -3. I like the Chargers -3. I like the Dolphins -12. I usually don't put my own money on that big of spreads. Maybe an alternate line there. Something for the locks video that we do every Thursday. Washington -9. It's a pretty big one. They should cover it. Cowboys, I'm a little more confident with that one than the Commanders one. They should cover the 10.5. Jags, it's going to be close, but they should cover the 6.5. It's going to be really close, though, to that line. Not really the game. The game could be close, but more so meant to the line being close. And then the Texans, I do like -4, but the Cardinals could be sneaky with Kyler Murray. They could be sneaky there. The Niners game, I would not touch with that spread. That is the toughest score to predict, which means it's in my opinion, which means it's the toughest one to pick against the spread. Bucks Niners, I only see the Niners winning. I really don't see the Bucks winning. I can't say 0% chance, but I see multiple different outcomes and how the game goes, how the Niners win. What's the score going to be? Bills -7. They've been a letdown with these big spreads. Vegas still believing in them. I believe in them for this week, but I don't know if I believe in them enough to put money on them. I like the Rams. I really wish that was I thought it was going to be +2, 3, 4. I really wish it was there because I would bet on the Rams. +1 makes it a little tricky. It's basically who's going to win. Alternate spread maybe adds a few. You get it to +3. Vikings I have winning. I wish that was +3 though because they are not. I don't see a way they lose by more than 3. That's why I wish it was 3. I don't know if I see the Broncos losing by more than that either. But the Vikings will either win this game or lose it super, super close. So it's one to think about. Chiefs, Eagles, I wouldn't touch it. I have them covering, but again, wouldn't touch it. But so I don't have a lot that I love, but there are a couple that I pointed out. But that's what the locks video is for, which we've been doing pretty good on those as well last couple weeks. So hopefully you join us for that and all of our videos here at the Goat House. But that is going to do it. Yeah, make sure you check out those other videos. Make sure you check out our Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, I'd recommend making one. We have a lot going on there. Like, subscribe to notifications on. You know the drill. Any link you're looking for, pin in the comments. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.